Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 192 based on novel. So let's start. Tru Yang looked at the obedient Mo Luo standing before him. He actually had a good feeling about this primal region genius. However, the story he told earlier made Tru Yang frown. He ordered, "What you said is true, Tru Yang Emperor Elder." Mo Luo bowed. "Under my teacher's questioning, only then did I reveal this story. Other than you two, I haven't told anybody else." Tru Yang snorted coldly. "Go, all of you, cackle, angry. Tru Yang, you are raging, cackle." The golden-robed skinny old man laughed arrogantly. Mo Luo remained bowed. Tru Yang squinted, gold light glowing. "Cackle, let's go." The skinny old man laughed and vanished. Mo Luo too vanished, leaving only Tru Yang in the room. His expression was cold, speaking softly. "If I hadn't known my disciple for so many years, I would really have suspected. However, Luo Feng, that punk, is definitely, amongst my disciples, the one with the strongest beliefs. He does things the most straightforward and cleanly, the one with the most principles." After being with his disciple for so long, he really respected this student. Heart like a mirror, seeing through everything. Heart like a blade, slicing through illusions. Anyone who's able to reach such a stage would do things with the most principles. Such a person would have the pride of a warrior. Even if he wanted to get into the primal region, he would do it with his own strength. He definitely wouldn't try and secretly kill or backstab another to attain victory. "Student, I believe you are still alive. There must have been something special that's happened in Demon Note Mountain that's held you up." Tru Yang said softly. In his mind a thought flashed through his head. Of the 32 inheritance palaces in Demon Note Mountain, he had just come to know that there was one that had an unknown life form. If that unknown life form was his student, then that was the best outcome. "Ha, I really know how to ponder." He shook his head. "My student was able to reach Fantasy Ocean's 10th island before failing. If that Mo Luo could survive till now, he definitely can too." Time passed. Day by day, year after year, Luo Feng was completely immersed in the inheritance training. Step by step, his soul evolved constantly. A few special techniques could only be unleashed after evolving the soul. Just like his teacher Hu Yangbo's soul imprint, it required altering the soul. Only when the soul had special qualities would he be able to unleash those special techniques. In the blink of an eye, 3 years passed. In an underground ice cave below Demon Mountain, massacre had just ended. He. Mo Luo gently flicked off the blood from his fingertips, looking at the body below. "You are only an aboriginal. Dying by my absolute genius hands is your honor. If it weren't for the 10k black tags reward, I wouldn't bother to attack you." Mo Luo swiftly took the space belt and scanned it with his spirit energy. 31 black tags. He immediately revealed a look of mad glee. Ha, my luck is really good." He gripped his fists excitedly. "I lacked only 30 tags and this aboriginal had 31. The automaton weapon I specially bought for this Demon Mountain was indeed a worthy investment. Even though I can only use it once. However, I successfully killed 2 sector lords and made my black tags acquirement much easier. 10,000 black tags, it's finally enough." Mo Luo's eyes gleamed. "It's been 3.5 years since I entered Demon Mountain. I could have left half a year ago. Only because of the black tags did I stay till now, thinking of ways and means to set traps, etc." Mo Luo smiled. His smile was proud and satisfied. He was very satisfied with all that he had done throughout his entire Demon Mountain mission. Whether it was checking out the structure and environment of Demon Mountain, ensuring he stayed in the safest regions, or backstabbing Luo Feng, or assassinating the sector lords, everything was perfect. "No one can stop me." Mo Luo muttered softly. "My teacher is stupid, treacherous and evil. If you let others know you are treacherous, then that wouldn't be treacherous anymore, that's simply stupid." After which, he turned and swiftly began his route back. The way back was easy. Because during his time in Demon Note Mountain, whether it was the Aboriginals or the Virtual Universe Company Majesties, they would swiftly record down their paths. With a warrior's memory and calculating abilities, following the paths they had taken before, intersections, etc., they can all swiftly form an incomparably clear map in their minds. With this map, they can find a safe and close way to return swiftly. When Mo Luo flew out of a particular cave, there was staff there immediately awaiting to welcome him. "Your Majesty Mo Luo, Your Majesty Mo Luo, this way." The staff accompanied Mo Luo and quickly a white-robed youth came to welcome him. It was the Yi-chan that had welcomed Luo Feng. "Your Majesty Mo Luo." The white-robed youth smiled and led the way. You've spent over 3 years in Demon Note Mountain. Yi Chang respects you. Mo Luo smiled and nodded. Thanks for leading the way. I've already collected over 10,000 black tags, 10K000 black tags. The white-robed youth was greatly shocked. My God. Collecting 10,000 tags was simply too difficult, because even those that spent on getting E-grade lasers would find it hard to achieve. As the E-grade lasers usually had preparation time, and in that instant, that was enough for a Sector Lord warrior to kill them easily. Sector Lord and Universe Level 9, the difference was too much. Hence collecting the 10,000 tags was a lot harder than surviving for 3 years. Congratulations, Your Majesty. The white-robed youth immediately felt like this Mo Luo before him had a huge future before him. Immediately he was incredibly passionate and respectful. It's been very long since we've had anyone collect 10,000 black tags. I heard, the prize is shocking. Shocking prize? What treasures? Mo Luo was interested. I don't have the authority to know. The white-robed youth said softly. However, I've heard it is shocking. Hurry and lead the way. Mo Luo was anxious after hearing it. Yes. When Mo Luo left Demon Mountain to acquire the treasure, Luo Feng was in the greatest treasure of Demon Mountain itself, receiving the Demon Note Inheritance. Inheritance Staircase. The many levels of stairs extended into space, all the way to that tiny little shrine. What do I do? I'm reaching my limit? Luo Feng stood on the 1129th level of stars, looking back at the little blur of steps behind, and looking back up at the distant stairs ahead. He couldn't help but frown. According to the Supreme Demon Note Technique information, I can probably at most accept another 1 to 200 levels, and that would be my limit. Luo Feng was helpless. When he first began, he came to know of many things. The inheritance belonged to one of the more mysterious inheritance in the universe, one of the pinnacle that had harsh requirements on the soul, right, incredibly harsh, so harsh that over 1 trillion years, with batch after batch of life forms receiving, yet none had completed it. To reach such a stage, 99% of them were undying. The many undyings couldn't even succeed. Just how hard was this? The Demon Note Inheritance had harsh requirements on the soul. And the absorption of Blood River crystals had harsh requirements on the body. In Blood River world, it was hard to find anyone able to absorb 10 crystals. And the Golden Horned Beast actually absorbed over 90. This was because of the special properties of its cells in the body. The Demon Note Inheritance was looking for an absolute genius with a soul capable of completely absorbing it. If such a genius was able to complete it, he would become a unique and all-powerful Demon Note General. The Inheritance had high requirements. And the soul of Undyings had all gone through the evolution of breakthrough from Sector Law to Undying. Hence almost every Undying had souls stronger than Luo Feng's, much stronger. Many Undyings were stuck at the end of the first set. Some of them were stuck at the second. Very few actually made it to the 3 road. See, there wasn't a life form that had completed the third yet. And Luo Feng? With a soul of only domain level 9, not even experiencing the greatest evolution of soul, from Sector Law to Undying. Hence, his soul was simply too much weaker than the Undyings. Luckily he had gone through the Primal Chaos City's true spirit absorption, hence his consciousness and spirit energy control was very strong, thus he was able to make it to level 1129. However, the moment his soul felt fatigued, it would mean his absorption limit was almost at 90%. This was the information provided. I've already felt it. I'm reaching my limit. My limit should be between about 1,200 to 1,300. Luo Feng thought, and this first level should still have about over 3,000 levels. His limit could only withstand 1/3 of the first part. There was no way. This inheritance was intended for Undyings. His soul was only domain level 9, and he rushed in. If he could take more, that would be absurd. What do I do? Luo Feng looked up and ahead. In the distant depths of space, that tiny shrine was the end of the first part. Reaching there would make him a beginner, allowing him to acquire the beginner reward. This Demon Mountain that had been here for who knows how long, and the treasures left behind by that being definitely wouldn't be inferior. However, one had to finish the first part to acquire it. I'm still over 2.000 levels away from the shrine, and my limit can only take 1 to 200 more levels. Luo Feng pondered as he trained. To do so only slowed his training down slightly. I can't accept this, such an encounter. The virtual universe has so many Undyings stationed here, and this place has trillions of beasts gathered. This inheritance is so heavenly. I definitely cannot ever get such a chance again. He quickly calculated in his mind, seeing if there was a way to accept more of the inheritance. Accepting the inheritance to levels 1200 to 1300, reaching his limit and leaving, this was something he couldn't accept. However, how could he change the limits of his soul? The soul, as a flesh and blood life form's core, for it to suddenly evolve, it was something the current Luo Feng was unable to do. Slowly, he gritted his teeth and continued to receive the demon note inheritance. One step, one level at a time. Only with constant work every day could he improve. In the blink of an eye, several months passed again. On the 1236th level, Luo Feng, who was in full armor, knelt on the floor, gasping softly. The pain and fatigue from the soul was making him about to crumble. I'm almost saturated. Luo Feng's eyes had a sense of being undefeated. He felt the sharp pain in his soul, almost like someone attacking his soul. That incomparable fatigue made him feel like he was about to fall asleep any time. According to the information about the inheritance, this represented that Luo Feng's soul was already almost full from receiving the inheritance. Even if he forced his way through, he could at most progress another 1 or 2 levels. Is this the end? He looked up and ahead. The many levels of stairs continued on into the distant space. His body shuddered simultaneously as he stepped on the 1237th level of stone stairs, feeling the inheritance pour into his memory. He still didn't stop, taking another step trying to get to the 1238th level. The moment he landed on it, Wang Chang, the strange demon note pierced straight into his consciousness. Break! Luo Feng's incomparably solid willpower roared within. However, that gentle and non-offensive light demon note actually permeated into his willpower and consciousness. Get out! He condensed his willpower, wanting to expel all of the demon notes out against his powerful willpower and consciousness. The demon note didn't even seem to fight back. Gradually, Luo Feng had a memory of when he was young, listening to his mother sing him to sleep. Trouble, no, no. Luo Feng knew he was falling in. Barging forward without accepting the inheritance had resulted in the strongest of demon notes attacking him. Sleep, sleep, no. Sleep. Luo Feng felt his consciousness sink more, slowly, sinking. It was a bottomless abyss. Luo Feng stood on the 1238th level, his eyes shut, his face revealed a simple smile. After which, he behaved like a robot, flying back and landing on the 1237th level. Mang, Jian, the demon notes changed. Luo Feng's consciousness rose from the bottomless abyss, almost like returning to reality from the darkness. He opened his eyes quickly. He awoke. He gasped for breath, sweat beading from his forehead profusely, his face pale. That was too dangerous against that demon note earlier. I had no way to withstand it. Luo Feng, who had always confident in his willpower and consciousness strength, felt like he just received a new lease of life. One had to know that those that came to the Demon Note Inheritance Palace were all mostly undyings. Just how strong were their defenses? If the Demon Notes could affect these beings, how could it not affect Luo Feng? Luckily, I guessed earlier that the Demon Note Shrine was specially built for the inheritance. It shouldn't have any threat to the inheritors. Luo Feng felt his mind constantly receiving the 1237th level of information, lifting his head once again to look at the endless space and that shrine. He couldn't accept it. He just couldn't accept it. The cloud contact vine can at most extend 3,000 kilometers. I don't know if it can reach. He thought, even though he felt like the design of the palace wouldn't have such a loophole, he couldn't resist not giving it a shot. He immediately extended his right arm and from the sleeve shot out a thin vine. It extended and quickly grew longer and thicker, heading towards the shrine. When the cloud contact vine had just reached universe level, with 72 vines, every one of them had already reached 300 kilometers long. The Domain Lord level vine now could reach up to 3,000 kilometers. Its structure could be said, if placed in the center of China, it could cover the entire territory. There's actually no resistance at all? He couldn't believe it, watching the vine extend towards the distant space. Shrine. The vine pierced into the shrine. His expression changed. The shrine which he could see was simply like air. The vines that grew there couldn't even touch anything. What's going on? Luo Feng controlled the vine to sweep about. The air swiveled about. However, no matter how the vine swept, even against the stairs that led there, it couldn't touch anything at all. This? Luo Feng was shocked, after which he sent another vine from his right arm towards the stairs he was on. The vine passed right through the stairs, almost like there was nothing there. How can this be? He frowned. Luo Feng, I think I understand it. Take out a robot, try again. Barbata's voice resounded within Luo Feng's mind. He nodded and the 1,000th of kilometer cloud contact vine shrank back. Simultaneously he retrieved a robot from his space ring. This robot was completely gold. It was a robot guard he had gotten from the Virtual Universe company. These guards were similar to the liquid silver guards, but more durable. These robots were provided by the company. It floated in mid-air and bowed respectfully at Luo Feng. Master, step on the stairs. Luo Feng ordered. Yes. The guard immediately landed and stepped. Similarly, it was like he stepped on air. The guard's red crystal eyes immediately had large amounts of words flashing through them, as though it was swiftly calculating things, after which he turned towards Luo Feng and said, Master, these stairs cannot be stepped on. However, Master, you are standing on them. There's no logical explanation in my information database. Luo Feng nodded. With a wave, he kept the robot back into the space ring. Just as I guessed, it shouldn't be wrong. Barbata's voice sounded. What's going on? Luo Feng asked, even though he roughly began to understand too. Luo Feng, this mysterious inheritance palace, all the treasures etc., only the inheritors can receive them. Barbata said, just like the inheritance your teacher left behind, like when I accept the disciples. The bank accounts he left behind, only the disciples that pass through the inspection can retrieve them. One theory, to be able to build such a terrifying inheritance palace, existing for 1 trillion years, with even undying beasts. The Virtual Universe company even sends so many absolute undyings to be stationed here. Obviously, Barbata said confidently, that being belongs to the most pinnacle of eternal beings, far exceeding your teacher. Luo Feng nodded. Right. That being that left this behind, his abilities were far beyond his imagination. After all, the demon notes he left behind could easily overcome undyings. If he came out personally, how absurd would that be? Hence, this great being, the palace he built, the treasures can only be retrieved by the inheritors. Barbata said, whether you use a supporting plant life form or machine, ships etc. As long as it's not the inheritor themselves, they wouldn't even be able to touch the stairs, shrine etc., almost like they are all in a different space altogether. Luo Feng nodded. They couldn't even touch it. The use of space far exceeded Luo Feng's imagination. You are an inheritor, only you can touch the stairs and shrine. Barbata said, every inheritor must have to be able to receive the inheritance. However, the life forms with souls obviously cannot withstand the demon notes he left behind. They can only take one step at a time, if they can withstand it. Luo Feng smiled. If they can, that would mean that inheritor is also a great being. It would make sense they can retrieve the treasures. Barbata said. Luo Feng nodded. Looking up at the distant shrine in space while receiving the inheritance, he pondered. The design is indeed perfect. Inheritance palace, only a life form can receive the inheritance and they must have souls. He exclaimed, and a life form with a soul will definitely be affected by the demon notes. This way, they really have to follow the great being's plan of taking one step at a time, until they reach the shrine. However, there are life forms that defy logic in the universe. Luo Feng stared at the shrine in space. In mid-air, another black-clothed Luo Feng appeared. His life energy was identical to his earth body. It was Mosha Luo Feng. My Mosha body can completely clone its energy to my earth human body. He stood there. Mosha Luo Feng too began to descend and land on the stairs. He landed on the stairs. Standing on the solid stone stairs. Very good. Mosha Luo Feng smiled, immediately taking a step to the next level. Wang Chan, that terrifying demon note pierced into Mosha Luo Feng. However, demon note, accurately speaking, was a form of soul hypnotism. It was a terrifying super hypnotism. Those that were affected would lose their sense of reason and become zombies. However, the Mosha Luo Feng didn't carry the core. The core remained with the earth human body. The Mosha Luo Feng without a core was simply like a real Mosha clansman. It wasn't affected at all by soul attacks. As long as any attacks were linked to the soul, it had no effect whatsoever on it. Right, just like this. Mosha Luo Feng smiled and walked on the stairs, heading to the next level. The demon notes piled on. However, the seemingly celebratory Luo Feng was celebrating as he proceeded upwards. Another step after another. More steps. The great being that left behind the inheritance would probably never have guessed that a life form with a soul and another soulless life form could actually be the same person. The demon notes sounded. If one couldn't see the effects of the demon notes, just listening to them alone, they were wonderful on the stairs in space. The many levels extended upwards. Mosha Luophone became a beam of light passing through the many levels, quickly reaching the 333th level. This was the final level of the first part. And before him was a 1,000-meter-tall shrine with the outer wall filled with peculiar statues. There stood two huge gold doors. The door was open. Shrine. Luophone looked at the huge gold door that exuded shocking pressure. Before this door that was at least a few hundred meters tall, he was like a small ant. I'm here. Luophone flew straight in. Mist covered the entire shrine. There floated a stone tablet amidst the mist. On it mysterious words appeared. After a while, the meaning of the words were: You are the 61201th inheritor who's come here. You have the right to obtain the title beginner, receiving the beginner reward. The moment the words finished, Luophone looked all about, wanting to find the treasure. However, suddenly, to be able to get here, one is to finish all 3,333 levels of inheritance stairs. The second is like you, forcefully withstanding the demon note until you reach here. A complex mysterious voice resounded within the shrine. The language is something he had never heard before, yet Luophone understood everything it said. He was shocked when he heard the words. Demon Mountain had existed for over 1 trillion years. That great being should have long left the place. To be able to withstand the demon note, you must at least be a universe knight. Simply being a universe knight means you already are an absolute being in the universe, yet you till the little treasures I leave behind. Ha ha, since you've personally come, take the little treasures I've left. After the voice finished, 2 energy balls floated there. 1 golden energy ball. 1 grey ball. Mosha Luophone stood in the shrine, looking up at the distant floating energy balls, laughing within. That being must have left behind a warning in the shrine. He must have discovered I didn't receive the 3,333 levels of inheritance and barged my way here. He must have thought I withstood it all. However, still truly powerful. According to what he said, those able to withstand it must at least be a universe knight. Luophone exclaimed within. Knights, they were split into space or time knights. In the universe they were definitely absolute beings, to be able to build a universe country, dominate over trillions of galaxies and countless lives. Even amongst the pinnacle of races, humans, the universe country leaders were huge figures. Amongst the weaker races in the universe, a knight would most probably be the ultimate power. From the looks of it, the one who left behind the inheritance should be stronger than a knight. His gaze fell on the 2 energy balls. In the mist, 1 ball of gold and another of grey floated. Rumble. Rumble. The grey energy ball exploded open and within it floated a grey stone board. It was about 3 m long, half a meter wide, and on it were incomparably complex naturally formed engravings. The center complex engravings actually formed a bird-like creature. The gold energy ball exploded open and revealed a crystal-like gold fruit. From the first glance, it was similar to the cantaloupe melon Luophone ate on Earth. However, even though this floating fruit was gold, it was translucent. One could faintly see the insides of it, and it was surrounded by gold energy. A stone board. A fruit. These were the treasures the inheritance palace left behind. Luophone board. Barbata was shocked. The punk that left this behind sure is generous. The first part, and he actually leaves behind the treasure Luophone board. What's that? Luophone asked. This board is similar to your dark cloud shuttle. Barbata said, it is a flying weapon to be stood on, flying spirit weapon? Luophone was curious. The spirit weapons in the universe, to Luophone, were considered cheap. The level 5 weapons may be expensive to the sector lords, but they didn't matter much to Luophone. This naturally formed board before Luophone, however, was something he had never seen or heard of. Is this board very expensive? Luophone asked. What a joke. Barbata said, Luophone, those level 1 to 5 spirit weapons are for beings under undyings to use. Undyings can't be bothered to use such weapons. Even one of the 9 god weapons, the Nanshan armament, unless it's an average undying, otherwise any others with strength would switch for something better. Luophone nodded, this he knew. The origins for the weapons used by undyings come from many places. And the Luophone board is considered an exceptional flying spirit weapon even amongst the undying weapons. Only few official levels have it. Most of them are emperor level at least. Barbata said. It is a naturally formed stone board from the universe. Its power is shocking. Luophone was stunned. Only few official level have it. Then my teacher? Luophone asked. Which? Barbata asked, if it's true Yang, then he'll definitely be able to acquire it. My master was weaker. The flying spirit weapon he used was much weaker. After all, the price of the Luo Fu Liu board is 1 to 2 million mixed elements, and even so, very few people sell it. Luo Feng took a deep breath. Calm, he had to keep calm. 1 to 2 million mixed elements. Sick, really sick. He felt that he was very poor already. 1 million mixed elements, just what was that? Back then when Luo Feng joined the auction, the little starfield DANA starfield was sold for only 1,000 mixed elements. Of course that was still a small starfield. And the Black Dragon Mountain starfield was a big one, its galaxies were 20 times that of the DANA starfield. As the galaxies were gathered together and easy to govern, its price could be at least 10 times, however even so its price was still only 300,000 to 1 million mixed elements. Usually with 500,000 mixed elements, one could already buy the Black Dragon Mountain starfield. 1 million was the absolute maximum. Just this stone board is comparable to the Black Dragon Mountain starfield? Luo Feng took a deep breath. If you brought this stone board to that Undying in the sacred land Black Dragon, that Undying will definitely be more than willing to exchange you for it. Barbata said, no matter what, the Black Dragon Mountain Empire is only one Undying's entire wealth. Luo Feng nodded. He had to look at this problem from a different angle. It was different than on Earth. There were many countries that were personal wealths. Like the Ganwu Universe country was that leader's entire wealth. If it was said that there were treasures able to raise the Ganwu Universe country leader's power to that of the Primal Chaos City leader level, the Ganwu Universe country leader would definitely be more than willing to give away his country in exchange for the treasure. What's that fruit? Luo Feng asked. That I don't know. I followed your teacher for over 60 million years. I've seen and heard a lot. This gold fruit, I've never seen before. I only know another special gold fruit. Barbata said, but it's obviously different from that one. Within the shrine. Luo Feng looked up at the two floating treasures, even after talking so much with Barbata, that had only been an instant. Suddenly, more words appeared on the stone tablet floating in the mist. Beginner reward. The first is the Luo Fu Liu board, flying weapon for a spirit reader. With it, survival chances in the dangerous universe greatly rises. The second is the gold soul fruit, mysterious fruit that forms only once every 3,000 eras. It has a special quality that can change the soul, making it able to accept more inheritance. This first and second part will both have soul-changing treasures. Yet, still none have been able to fully accept it completely. Luo Feng realized. He immediately extended his arm and grabbed the two treasures, swiftly keeping both treasures in his space ring, gold soul fruit, so it can change the soul. Luo Feng nodded. Seems right. If I were a being that leaves behind an inheritance, I will leave some treasures to try and aid the later generations in completing it. Luo Feng thought, it's a pity, even with the being's help, the hundreds of thousands of life forms that have been here, even the Undyings haven't been able to succeed. Mosha. Luo Feng swiftly left the shrine after acquiring the two treasures and flew down. He flew from high above in the shrine down to the 1237th level, standing beside the earth body, passing him the space ring and vanishing into the internal world. Luo Feng stood there, looking at the shrine, smiling. Ha ha, I got really lucky this time. He smiled. The universe is incredibly vast and mysterious, with many miracles, but only through acquiring them would it be a success. This is considered a success. With a wave, a translucent gold fruit appeared, gold energy visible to the naked eye surrounded it. The gold soul fruit, a fruit formed once every 3,000 eras. According to the information from the shrine, it can change my soul, making it better suited to accept the inheritance. Luo Feng didn't hesitate and took a bite. As he broke through the skin of the fruit, the meat from within flowed like energy and permeated into his body. Even the skin outside became like an energy flow, permeating his body. Luo Feng could only feel a cold rush through his body, and that energy later swiftly entered his core, permeating through the condensed crystal soul. The dark gold energy continued to flow in. His soul swiftly began to undergo changes. The blood color of his soul before now had hints of gold. How comfortable. The piercing pain from before is completely gone. There isn't a hint of fatigue, and my attention has risen 100 times. Luo Feng could clearly feel the evolution of his soul. Even the drag from before is all gone. His eyes gleamed brighter. Ha ha ha, I can accept more of the inheritance now. Luo Feng was extremely excited. Luo Feng, with regards to the Luo Fu Liu board's training, let me warn you. Barbata's voice resounded within Luo Feng's mind. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.